There is a federal intelligence agency called the National Reconnaissance Office. It appears in no law Congress has ever passed, and it has operated since August 1961 without a single public record of its founding. For 31 years, its existence was itself classified, not its programs, not its operations. The agency. You were never supposed to know the name. The National Reconnaissance Office builds and operates the spy satellites above your head, right now. Every reconnaissance satellite the United States government uses to track foreign militaries, monitor nuclear facilities, and confirm treaty compliance belongs to the NRO. It sits at the intersection of the Pentagon and the CIA. Its headquarters is a low-profile campus in Chantilly, Virginia, unremarkable from the road. Its employees receive federal benefits, complete performance reviews, and are prohibited, as a condition of their employment, from confirming what they do for a living. That is not a figure of speech. That is their job classification. Here is how it came to exist. In August 1961, a classified memorandum of agreement was signed between the Secretary of Defense and the Director of Central Intelligence. No legislation, no committee vote, no public record of any kind. The Eisenhower administration had been running the U-2 spy plane program the same way, black budget operations authorized by executive directive, never touched by the regular legislative process. The Kennedy administration formalized the satellite program on the same model, an executive directive, a signature, a classified budget line, and an agency that would not exist in any public document for the next 3 decades. Congress appropriated money for it every year. Certain committee members knew, but the knowledge was compartmented, briefings limited to those with specific clearance and need to know. The majority of Congress voted annually on a budget that contained a line they were not permitted to read. Who controls it now is itself an answer designed to prevent a clean answer. The NRO reports to both the Secretary of Defense and the Director of National Intelligence, a dual structure engineered so that no single oversight body has complete visibility. The director is presidentially appointed, Senate confirmed, and operates under a classification regime that bars most of what they know from open congressional testimony. The oversight committees that technically supervise the NRO receive classified briefings. Those briefings are not public. The corrections those committees demand are not public. The conclusions they reach are not public. Remember, no one voted for this, and here is why it reaches you directly. The NRO's legal authority, derived from executive directives and classified presidential findings, rather than any statute you can read tonight, permits the collection of imagery over American soil. The legal framework governing when that authority applies domestically is itself classified. You cannot read the rules. You cannot challenge them in court because you cannot establish standing without first knowing collection occurred. And you cannot know collection occurred because the program leaves no public record by design. In 2013, documents disclosed through the Snowden archive confirmed the NRO's budget had reached $10.3 billion in a single fiscal year. That number had never appeared in any public document before that moment. Not a press release. Not a congressional summary. Not a declassified audit. A decade of spending at that scale with no public accounting because the legal architecture said it was not required. Your tax dollars, satellites above your head, rules you cannot read, authority traceable to a 1961 memo that was itself classified. And here is the part that should actually worry you: it is completely legal. The structural lock on the NRO is not secrecy. Secrecy is just the surface. The real lock is that the agency's legal foundation does not live in statute. It lives in executive authority and classified presidential directives. To repeal it, Congress would need to pass legislation explicitly stripping that authority. That bill would face executive branch resistance on national security grounds. Drafting it would require classified briefings. Sharing those briefings with colleagues would be restricted by the very classification regime the bill sought to challenge. And the final legislation, if it passed, would face a near-certain veto Because every president since Kennedy has reauthorized the NRO's core authority as a function of national defense. The mechanism protects itself. That is not a design flaw. That is the design. What the NRO reveals is that there exists a category of permanent government that operates outside the electoral cycle, outside the reach of public legislation, and beyond the horizon of anything an ordinary citizen can verify. The NRO is not an exception. It is a template, the classified founding directive, the dual reporting structure that diffuses oversight, the budget line that cannot be read, the legal authority that cannot be published. The CIA was created by public statute, the National Security Act of 1947, but the programs it runs and the authorities it holds were expanded using the same invisible architecture. The NRO just made the logic visible by being so thoroughly hidden for so long. The NRO was formally acknowledged in 1992. Its existence was declassified. But its founding documents, the 1961 agreement, the directives that followed, the legal opinions that extended its domestic authority, most of those remain classified today. So the question is not how it was hidden. The question is what else was built the same way, and whether the thing you were never told about has ever once actually been brought to light.